Wayne, thanks for coming today, and thanks for taking some time. I was thinking back to the first time we ever met and talked about Trinity Cyber and ACS and the potential partnership. When I told you about what we do the first time, you kind of had a funny look on your face, and we're probably a little skeptical. What in that process and in that conversation changed your mind, and what really jumped out at you about the offering that we have?
Well, really, the first thing that really jumped out was when you described at what your service does at line speed, because that's the thing that doesn't exist. There's all kinds of intrusion prevention systems out there, and like I told you, we had been looking. I'd been trying to find something else to replace the product that we had previously been using, more of a set it up and forget it product. And then when you were describing what you guys have, it was like, this is perfect timing. And then there was a little bit of skepticism of when you were like, and we all do all this at line rate. It was like, show me.
Sure. So what did you think about it once you saw it?
So the first time that I saw the demo that you did with us, I just thought it was phenomenal. I could not believe what I was seeing, and it was remote. We weren't even one-on-one at that point. And just to see what it could do and the speed at which it did it, just thought was amazing.
So you talked about the speed. For you, what's different about what we do and how it helps your business?
From our aspect, for our business of what's different versus other products that we've used and sold in the past, the fact that you guys are monitoring this, we get a 24/7 SOC out of it, that was huge. The fact that you're constantly updating your definitions, your rules, and the library is keeping up with things all the time, that's monstrous for a small MSP.
So, this is a little behind the scenes, and maybe not everybody gets to see this. But I really want to take a second to recognize our team. You've had a chance to work with some of the people that are kind of in the back end. Can you talk about that experience, and then I'll ask you another question about what does that mean for not just you as an MSP, but for your customers. So a little bit about maybe the first time you met some of the team, Stefan and Jeremy and Daniel.
So as far as the team at Trinity goes, they're amazing. There's no other way to say it. The first call that I was on with Stefan and Daniel, we actually had to work something. It wasn't just a real nice and easy, simple onboarding. And to listen to them talk, they are just, as far as network engineers go, they are top notch. I've never been on a call with anybody as sharp as those two. Everything from top to bottom as far as your team goes, from the account management with Courtney and Stephanie, and then the guys on the back end, it's just, they're top notch.
So obviously for you as an MSP, knowing that you have that capability and those team members to support you is really important, clearly. What does that translate for your customers? Because you kind of serve that role for your customers, but how much of that do you expose, and what do you think that means for them from a performance and a stability standpoint, I guess?
As far as the customer service goes that Trinity will provide to us, it's great because we don't really show that to our customer. Our customers don't reach out to anybody at Trinity directly. But when we have an onboarding process and we go through like a 24-hour burn-in period and we've got problems, and we send it in to the ops email and their response is pretty quick. Even if it's not during the onboarding process and it's a month, 2 months, 3 months down the road, and we have a problem or an issue come up and we shoot it off to your ops email, those guys acknowledge right away, and normally it's fixed within 5 or 10 minutes. So that's huge because that's what our customers are looking from us, because typically it would be with a different type of product that we maintained in-house. We would get the ticket, we would log in and start working on it right away. Well, it's kind of out of our hands, so we don't want to pass the buck and say, well, I'm waiting on Trinity. You guys are right there and have it fixed before, So when we would have an issue come up and a customer would contact us about something that's not working properly and we send the ticket off to Trinity, those guys instantly acknowledge to say, hey, we've got the issue, we're looking at it. And typically it's within a matter of minutes, we get the response and it's like, okay, we created this exclusion in the SSL decryption engine, let us know if that fixes the problem. And then we might even get a follow-up after that says, well, we saw this, this, and this, and it's really interesting, so we'd like to keep looking at it. So they go above and beyond consistently on everything that we deal with. You guys are always on top of it and are going the extra mile for us and for our customer to make sure everything's taken care of. and to make sure that the technology, that the setup on everything is clean, that there is no questions, there's no anomalies. Your guys do not believe in anomalies. There is a reason for everything. So it's not ever just a one-off of like, well, I'm not sure why it did that, but let me know if it happens again. Daniel is like, okay, I want to figure out why it did that. I'll get back to you. And then you get an email at 1 a.m. and it's like, okay, I went back and looked at the logs at this and this and this, and here's why this happened.
So for you and the ACS team, obviously having the expertise behind you has been really valuable. Having this cool new technology at your disposal and to help benefit your customers is really awesome. What would you say are the things that you've realized from an ACS perspective about, if you think about before you started offering Trinity Cyber and after, what's changed about your business profile or your margins or any of that? How has this service really helped your business?
So some of the biggest things that I talked to you about when we initially spoke about it, about what Trinity could offer for us, one was the ability to sleep at night. Because with the other solutions that we've used for an advanced threat protection or an IPS, there was no back-end monitoring. It was 100% on us. So it was always a concern of what are we going to miss, what is not updated, what rules didn't get changed, what is going to slip through the cracks that is going to fall to us. So we were looking for something that had 24/7 monitoring to it. So, and with Trinity, we got above and beyond that because the product itself is just so far advanced in what it provides. But the NOC or the SOC is what really drew us in to start with. But then as we've went, the benefits really have become the granularity of the process and how clean it is and how it sniffs out the traffic, pulls it out at line speed so that nothing gets through. We've got the guys monitoring on the back end to contact us if there is an issue. And then from the MSP side of it, the great thing is that with our margins, we have practically zero maintenance that we put into your service once it's set up and done. You guys handle all of that. We send the monthly invoice. We pay you guys. It is definitely spread out over time. It has definitely increased profit margins on this type of product for sure.
I know we've had a couple instances where we saw stuff at a customer and we've proactively called you and said, hey, we just stopped X, Y, and Z. Customer's fine, obviously, because we prevented the thing. They didn't even notice that anything happened, right? Because the bad thing never got through, right? The car accident never happened, as I like to say. Tell me a little bit about that experience. And have you ever, any of the systems you've worked for, you're always kind of reliant on yourself and your team to do that, right? Is that correct?
Right. So in the past, everything always seems to be kind of reactive because we would get notification maybe after a bug already hit a machine or something already got through. Because realistically, with the set it up and forget it systems, stuff gets through. You're not really blocking everything. So our experience when we've had things that have gotten stopped, number one, it's a sigh of relief for us because number one, it lets us know that the system is working because as opposed to other systems where you just see the logs and you look and it's like, okay, there's nothing there. Is it really stopping anything? You don't really know. Is it, does it look like there's nothing there and there really is? But with yours, we're seeing the logs real time of what's getting stopped constantly. What the customers absolutely love about it is that I can let them know and say, hey, just so you know, you're spending this dollar amount per month and here's what we've stopped. So a huge thing that we really like as well is when we do the monthly calls with your team and they send us the metrics for all of our customers on a PowerPoint to say, okay, here's your metrics for customer X, customer Y, customer Z, here's how many blocks we've stopped, here's how much traffic you've got, how many sessions we're seeing, and to pick out anomalies in the traffic flow. Like one day we might have a spike in the traffic and your guys are like, hey, you really need to look at that and see why every month on this day. Then we track it back to, say, a backup job running, something like that. But the customers love when each month I take those slide decks, pull it apart and send it out to each of them because they're getting something that they can see and it meets compliance because now we've got a report that says, okay, we've got this, we're reviewing it. And there's different levels of people reviewing. You guys are reviewing it, we're reviewing it, and we're giving it to the customer to review. people love that.
You know, Wayne, you and I have talked about the company you've met, I think Steve and Tom and some of the executive staff. You know, Steve Ryan is the CEO. His vision of this company and our technology is really to provide this capability to clean everybody's internet traffic, right? To be the conduit between the adversaries and the network that they're trying to exploit and the end users. And he says it probably a lot more eloquently than I will, but you know, he said, we've got this, these adversaries on one side, and they're many and diverse and well funded and well equipped. And you've got customers on the other side and these assets that they've worked so desperately hard to put together and they want to protect. And you've got this wide open Wild West network in the middle. Steve's vision is to be, you know, cleaning all of that, right? To make it really, really difficult for adversaries to get to those assets and get to those customers. When you heard about that concept and that vision and Steve's idea about, you know, being able to, you know, you can't stop everything, but stop as much of that as possible, you know, what part of that resonated with you and you know, what did you think about that concept, like cleaning all internet traffic?
So for me, the first time you shared with me about Trinity's mission and what their goal is, you think on a small scale of, that's great. They want to like clean all the internet traffic, and knowing that there's millions and millions of devices out there, and you're like, whatever, you know, okay, someone's got that dream. But then when we really watch it and see it in line and see just for our small amount of customers, you know, our mid-level clients, of what it's stopping and what it's doing, and to see how it reacts to the threats in the wild, it's something that at your core as an IT person, you want that to come true. It is really something that unique that you guys provide and are offering, that I think it definitely has the potential to be that third party in the middle to scrub everything out there and to shut the bad guys down, because that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, the thing I've always said was really unique about Trinity Cyber was mission here from a company and a corporate culture perspective really means something. And that probably comes a lot from Steve's background and a lot of the team's background, you know, protecting the most sensitive assets in the country. When I talked to you about mission, what did that mean to you? Like, did you feel that difference between mission meaning something here at Trinity Cyber versus, you know, a mission statement at any company, which really is, well, let's go make money?
Absolutely. And you'd share different stories over your time with the company that, you know, made an example of that showed that their goal really is to stop the bad guys, to clean up the wild, wild west, and to protect the people, like you had said, that work so hard for the money and for the business that they have. And that's really what we're all trying to do from a cybersecurity aspect, is just to protect the customer. Of course, anybody that tells you they're not in it to make money is wrong, but at your core, you can have the values of what is happening is wrong. And there's got to be a way to help these people. And if we've been put into a scenario and given the skills to be able to help someone, then it's what we want to do. It's more than just about making money. It's about helping your community, helping your clients. And knowing that that is Trinity's mission as well makes it just a phenomenal feeling to be able to go out and talk to somebody. Because from an MSP side, I feel like I'm always going out and telling somebody, hey, here's the next new thing, write me a check. Here's the next new thing, write me a check. With this, it's one of those heartfelt things like, listen, this is real. Like, this is the real deal. I've sold you a lot of stuff over the years. Throw it all away and get this, because this is the real thing that you can't go without to protect your business. So knowing what Trinity's mission is and where they came from as basically public servants all their lives and where they're at now, it just makes it so much easier to sell for me, and it means a lot to the customer because we share their background with the customers as well.